How Did We Get Here is the hardest achievement in all of Minecraft, where you need to get every single effect in the game at the same time. This includes levitation from a shulker, mining fatigue from an Elder Guardian, and even haste from a beacon. I'm the first Minecraft player to ever complete this difficult achievement with only my fist. So in my last video, I managed to beat the entire game with just my fist. It's not that important to watch that first, but if you'd like to, I'd link it at the end. I exited the end and went over to the Stronghold library. I punched some bookshelves until I had about a stack of books, then left and went home. For How Did We Get Here, I need a lot of potions. The first one I went for was Turtle Master, because it gives you both resistance and slowness. I accidentally played an Undertale song on Seagrass. I then bred my turtles right after. While waiting for that, I went to a bastion, placed down some TNT and picked up the gold. I kept 8 blocks and traded the rest to Piggin so I could get spectral arrows. I went home to the village and the turtle still hadn't hatched. I realised the best thing I could do while waiting for these stupid turtles was to get a conduit. The conduit is crafted with 1 Heart of the Sea and 8 Nautilus shells. Before I beat the Ender Dragon in the last video, I looted a buried treasure, and just so happened to keep the Heart of the Sea. The only extra thing I needed for the conduit was the 8 Nautilus shells. But Nautilus shells are hard to get. They can be dropped by a drown that is holding one of them. But if I try killing drowns, I'll die of death. They're not that strong, but keep in mind that I have no armor or tools, and they're underwater so I can't burn them. The solution was fishing. I could just fish them up quickly and without any pain. It can't take that long, right? I was wrong.
Huh?
Do you hear that? It's the sound of an annoying blue waste of storage interrupting my 3 consecutive hours of fishing. I managed to get some leads from a completely unrelated source, and after a few more hours I finally got the last Nautilus shell. I have finally gotten all 8 Nautilus shells. That took absolutely forever. Look how good this fishing rod is! It's Unbreaking 3, Luck of the Sea 3, Curse of Vanity, Mending, Lure 2. I got so much good stuff. Guess what? The stupid turtles finally hatched and I could actually start doing things again. No more waiting, right? Wrong. It turns out that scutes don't drop when a turtle egg hatches, and actually drop when a baby turtle grows up. So that means more waiting for me. Yay. Anyway, I got them all. I needed a lot of blocks, but I can't use a pickaxe. So how will I get enough? Well, TNT drops blocks upon explosion. I can just use TNT to get blocks. But how will I get enough TNT? Simple. I had to build a gunpowder farm. By the way, the people that make these farms are way better at Minecraft than I am, and they deserve more attention, so I'm gonna link every single tutorial I use in this video in the description. To scare away the creepers into the hole, I needed their one true fear. Cats. So you're telling me that a literal distorted pig that explodes and tries to kill you is scared of a tiny little cat? Anyway, the cat spawning mechanics are stupid because they need beds. That's not that difficult, because villagers spawn with multiple beds, and my spawn is a village, right? Well, I'm a problem here. In my previous video, I grabbed all the beds and failed the 1 cycle, so I didn't even use them properly. Fortunately, there was another village about 500 blocks away from mine. I stole some beds from there and brought them back to my village. However, my one cleric villager who sold redstone didn't want to spawn cats. So I brought the beds back to the other village and waited for cats to appear out of thin air. They finally appeared, so I kidnapped 2 of them and brought them to the creeper death trap. Stop sitting there staring at me! I'm coming back for you! The gunpowder farm was very efficient, and I got a surprising amount of gunpowder. Oh my god, that's a lot of gunpowder. But gunpowder wasn't the only core resource I needed. I also needed iron, for the rails and the beacon. I found yet another efficient farm, this time for iron. After a few hours, I had everything I needed to build it. I built the structure, but I still needed 2 more things. Villagers and a zombie. After a while of searching, I found all of my villagers stuck in the nether. I performed an unannounced adoption of my villagers and brought them back to the overworld. I then lured in a zombie, so the villagers would spawn an ancient titan. This ancient titan will surely protect the villagers and the potential chit. Oh wait, it's dying. It was time for a big project in this video. Capturing the elusive Elder Guardian, the protector of the sea. It resides in the dangerous ocean monument, but if you know remotely anything about Minecraft, you probably already know this. If I go anywhere near it, I'll die of death. It's just that strong. So I may have spent 3 hours mining trees to get enough blocks to bridge over to the ocean to the monument. My plan was to rush in and drive it away to a small remote island, where I would store all of my supplies I needed to complete. How did we get here? I bridged about 1,000 blocks and reached the monument. I was given mining fatigue and I ran back home, when I made the single best discovery in this entire video. I could run back and still have 2 minutes of mining fatigue left, but running is slow. I then realised that if I had an elytra, I could fly to the monument and back in 1 minute, so I have 4 minutes of mining fatigue. But the thing is, I don't have an elytra. So I guess I'm going to the end to get an elytra but not bring enough blocks, so I have to go back but miss the pull into the gateway and die in the void. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Like the absolute idiot that I am, I managed to miss the ender pearl and died in the void with 3 stacks of bread. That bread meant so much to me, it was all of my food. So how do I complete this challenge without food? Well, you remember how I got the Nautilus shells? I was fishing at the start of the video, and I fished a lot. I just so happened to have literally 9 stacks of fish, so I started cooking it. Next, it was time to get the wither skeleton skulls. If you don't already know, you need 3 wither skulls to spawn the wither, who drops the nether star. I need the nether star to make the beacon, and I also need another drop from it. I'll get into that later. I built 2 block high doors because wither skeletons are 2.5 blocks tall, meaning they can't get past. I was just free to punch them to death until 3 of them dropped their heads. This was going to take a long time. Why are there so many normal skeletons? I don't want normal skeletons. I want quirky skeletons. Not like the other skeletons. Emo skeletons. Oh! Oh my god! I need to get back! Except I got extremely lucky. I found the first one in about 15 minutes in, by chanting the one phrase that drops wither skulls. Emo skeleton. I'm not joking, I said emo skeleton and it dropped the skull. I guess it was just too broken for this world. Anyway, when I was fishing earlier, I got about 9 name tags, so I took a name tag and renamed a wither skeleton to emo skeleton and then killed it. Unfortunately, it didn't drop the skull and I just wasted a name tag. A few hours later, I had all 3 wither skulls. It took so long that I aged 50 years and am now an old man. It was time for the wither. But I can't beat the wither normally, I'll die of death. Thankfully, there's a thing called a wither trap. I can suffocate the wither in bedrock and leave it to die. However, there's an item called the Wither Rose, which gets dropped when the wither kills a mob. I need this for the wither effect. I managed to find a spot at the bedrock ceiling with a little pocket that I can stuff a mob in. The initial blast doesn't drop a Wither Rose, so it has to survive the explosion. It needs to have health and it needs to be easy to put in the pocket. Fortunately, there was an easy mob that fulfilled all of these goals. The poor axolotl. I went to a lush cave and found an axolotl. I took it to the pocket to get turned into a wither rose. I planned this strategy 2 weeks before I started this challenge. With all this planning, nothing could go wrong, right? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Murphy's Law. I don't know why, but for some reason it didn't work. I tried and tried for hours until I finally found a strategy. It turns out the initial blast does drop a wither rose, but the axolotl had too much health. I couldn't be bothered to spend 10 minutes going back to the overworld and getting a fish, so I spent an hour and a half coming up with another strategy. I waited exactly 4 minutes 56 seconds after placing the axolotl. Then I placed the final wither skull. The explosion killed the axolotl and dropped a wither rose. It finally happened and I got the wither rose. I rushed home and crafted the beacon and some rockets. I rushed over to the end city and managed to get an elytra. Using the rockets I brought to the end, I flew back and actually got in the gateway this time. While in the End City, I found something amazing. I found a potion of healing. Now normally no one would want this, but remember how I grew old earlier? This was the answer. I brewed a special potion and went back to my normal Minecraft skin. 3, 2, 1. I am back to normal. Finally, I hated being old. Next, I needed some prismarine so I could actually activate my conduit. I found the sponge room, got some sponges, dried them out, and then drained the room of the ocean monument. I then blew up some TNT and picked up the dropped prismarine. I started to set up my island, and I brought some dolphins over there. By the way, if you're enjoying the video and want to see more, then you can always subscribe. Also, if there are any difficult or dumb video game challenges you'd like to see me try, feel free to leave a comment. Next, I needed to steal a shulker. A shulker is found in an End City, and I need it for the levitation effect. So I spent a few more hours punching trees until I had about 20 stacks of blocks. I then bridged in the air and placed down rails. After a while, I finally got the shulker in the end portal. Unfortunately, I have no footage of this because that specific recording corrupted. I built a small bridge to my island and started rowing the shulker over. It kept shooting itself to death, so I had to keep loading backups. I finally got it to the island and trapped it in a glass box. After this experience, I have a newfound hate for shulkers. I also set up my beacon. Now it was time for a legendary hunt, getting every single potion. I brewed my turtle shell into a turtle master potion and put it in the potion chest. I had a water breathing potion from the buried treasure and a fire resistance potion from piglins. I also killed the wither with strength, so I still had some left over. I looted a ruined portal and got some golden carrots, so I made 2 night vision potions. You'll see why in a bit. I crafted a suspicious stew with an azure bluet, which gives me blindness. I stayed up all night killing spiders so I could craft fermented spider eyes. Fermented spider eyes reverse the effect of potions, which is surely a bad thing, right? Nope. I needed them so I could get weakness and invisibility. I reversed one of my night vision potions, and then added a fermented spider eye to a plain water bottle to make weakness. The next potion I needed was jump boost. This is made with a rabbit's foot. The thing is, they're extremely rare. We spawn a lot in deserts, so I found a desert and started farming rabbits. While doing that, I looted desert temples and eventually found a notch apple, or an enchanted golden apple. After a long time, I finally got the rabbit foot and brewed the jump boost potion. I also brewed sugar into a speed potion. My next and very difficult potion was regeneration. It's made with a ghast tear, which is a 50% chance to drop from a ghast. Ghasts are big flying things that shoot fireballs that make you die of death. So how will I kill them? Well, you can punch back their fireballs, and after half an hour, I managed to get a ghast tear. I crafted a regeneration potion, and I just needed one more, slow falling. Slow falling is made with phantom membrane, which dropped from a phantom. Phantoms only spawn when you haven't slept for 3 Minecraft days, which is 1 real life hour. I was an idiot and I accidentally slept and reset the counter. There was not much left to do, so I left it AFK in a box and went to play some Hypixel Skyblock. By the way, there was this one run where we all died except for one guy. His name? It was Mr. Cheese, of course. This absolute legend lured our wandering souls into the healing pond and slowly killed all of them, which respawns us. With a team this strong, there was absolutely no chance we could lose the game. But we lost. Still though, this guy is an absolute legend. Mr. Cheese 32, I salute you. You are a true gamer and will be better at Minecraft than me or anyone else ever will be. Mr. Cheese is the best Minecrafter ever. Anyway, back to the Fists Only world. Phantoms finally spawned and they dropped nothing. I had insanely bad luck here. I killed 8 phantoms and couldn't get a 50% drop. This is literally a 1 in 256 chance. Why game? Anyway, I dropped one of my 9th phantom. I made the slow falling potions and brewed every potion into a splash potion. There was just one thing left to do. for raid. But I can't do a raid normally. It's dangerous and I'll die of death. Luckily, raid farms exist. I spent a few hours digging a hole and roaming a villager in. I then had to go to the pillager outpost, back to the farm, and then punch the pillagers to death. That's it, right? Nope. I had to go back to the pillager outpost to get Bad Omen a second time, and then fly back home. I was ready. I flew over to the Ocean Monument to get mining fatigue, and went back to my island. This was it. Nothing and no one could stop me now. I think it's best if you watch this for yourself. Is Shulker gonna hit me? Yep. For some reason it won't give me Dolphin's Grace. This dolphin hates me or something. Yep. It didn't work. It turns out that dolphins don't give Dolphin's Grace to an invisible player. But they do if you have armor. But my rules literally banned armor. So I guess this is impossible and the title is clickbait? No. I wasn't ready to give up now. I'd come so far, over 40 hours, and this one challenge wasn't about to go to waste. I was committed. Committed to the YouTube views I could get from this, and the satisfaction of completing something so tough. I found a way. There we go! We got it! Let's actually go! That took me so long. Wait! If you enjoyed the video and have any feedback, feel free to let me know. This is the video I spent the longest on, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Also, if you want to, then you can suggest some video game challenges. And you can subscribe so you actually get to see me do your challenge without you forgetting.